WildStar, not the PTR today. Just gonna do a quick tweet to remind people that I am giving away EU NA CBT codes while we're on. They are limited supply, but we do have a handful for both regions. So if folks are wanting to try and get into the PTR before it goes bye-bye, I want to come and check things out and give a testing on stuff that's coming up, now's the chance. We're going to be going to Silverthorn's plot. And going to see about continuing some work on his Oren house / laboratory. You can see we're still working on the tree. In fact, let me check and see if he's added any more. Yeah, we've got a couple more flower patches that we can add, so we'll do that first before we do anything else. There's always tweaking on the tree. That's bad. I'm horrible at tongue twisters. Hey, Olivar. Let's see. Maybe I should be down here instead. Get a better look. Basically, I'm just trying to fill in the rest of the tree because the front of it looked fine, the profile and everything, but when you went around to the side, then it's like it looked kind of naked. So I'm just trying to pack in more flowers to kind of give it a fuller look. You're still going to see branches, and it's going to kind of be like the flowers are just floating there, but hopefully it's a good enough idea that folks will accept that it's a tree, that it's not like a homemade thing, that it will look real enough. No promises though. So let's see. Did a reload, and looks like we're in business, just to make sure everything's working right. Whenever you switch plots, even when it's your own for your alts and stuff, sometimes it doesn't register that you have privileges to work on the house, so you always have to reload. Thanks, Olivar. I appreciate that. I have been working on it for some time, but it was an idea of mine. It wasn't necessarily something he was looking for, but I thought, well, I'm going to try and give him something like a little focal point for his plot, because it's, hiding the secret entrance to his lab. So and he wanted to keep it Orenish, so I figured, well, a tree is about as Orenish as you can get. So yeah, we just plop them on. The dome is just there for a guide. I've been moving it around for those that have been following along, just moving it as I need to kind of. You can do it without the dome, but I guarantee it's hard to see the different patches of flowers in here once they're all kind of mushed together like this. So it's real tricky to try and find the right one. So I found it easier just to kind of use the dome as a kind of a shaper for it. That way there's less of me piddling around with little bits here and there. I've already kind of lost one of the bunches in here somewhere. I'll find it later. But you can see I've still got a little bit, probably a few more patches. I couldn't even begin to tell you how many flower patches that entails. I may, just for trivia's sake, count them up later and kind of post a rundown of how many flower patches it actually was. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this tree is turning out. Even with it not completely done yet, it's looking really good. And of course, Thove copied his character to the PTR not too long ago, so he's able to kind of take a look at some of the new water decor that he can add into it, maybe to have a little waterfall feeding the pond here, which would be pretty good. Hey Bone, welcome back. For the tree trunk itself, I used white picket fence posts. It's just a bunch of those. I started with a big one, and then as you go out, you just make them smaller and um, tuck them in where you need to. You could get really intricate if you wanted. I just wanted to keep it kind of simple, but give the illusion that it's the same. You can see there's like one that's got like the little bulb end on it. Yeah, I archive all of my videos, Oliver, so if you want to check it out later, that's fine. But don't work too hard. But yeah, it's a really it sounds like a simple idea, you know, picket fence posts and flowers, but it's just a matter of playing around with how you wanted it to work together. You know, like I said, you can still see the limbs, so it's not like solid like, say, the weeping willow here. It's not as opaque, but I really didn't want to go for that. I wanted to kind of leave it kind of airy, so it's kind of my interpretation of a tree. Um, Yesterday, I had a long talk with Thove about some of the elements that we've got and how we might expand on those, if we want to expand on those, if we want to add more. Um, because of the decor limit being so tight as far as the owned amounts, um, I've been kind of reluctant to do, you know, add in. I want detail where I can, but I want to reel it in a little bit to make sure we do other things first. Like, for instance, this path, I kind of wanted to extend it out a little further, but he doesn't want me taking it all the way to the main path, I think. He just wants to kind of leave it open. So we're just going to leave the impression of it, but I think I might want to add a few if I can later. That'll be something we'll decide once we have more things finished on the interior, because the interior is really the main deal of his plot, and we've got so much to do still. As you'll notice, I've made some adjustments. I'm trying to refine the idea of what the lab is, the different areas of the lab. It's really difficult because, like I said when I first started this, usually when I build a plot for myself, I spend months, I'm being literal here, months, researching, looking up pictures, daydreaming about you know, the pieces I could use, the different types of rooms I might want to have depending on the type of theme it is. So I spend a lot of time planning well in advance of a plot build before I even lay down the first decor item. In this case, it was more like he's been daydreaming about the plot and collecting images, and when I opened up the offer to my guildmates to say, hey, I'll spend some time working on your plot if you don't have the time or feel like you would like me to give it a try for you, you know, just come to me and we'll work something out. Well, he brought all this to me, and so I'm struggling a bit on trying to, I guess, become one with the idea or something. So I'm just kind of working off the cuff on most of this. It's I'll put something down, and then maybe the next day I move it onto the other side or down below, or I flip it, or I resize it, I rotate it, I do all kinds of things. It's like these things just keep moving around, and every time he comes, he's like, well, I think you're getting ready to do this, but then you moved it, and you know, is this the, and it's like, well, it's tough to say because I really don't have a solid idea what I'm going to do. I'm just playing around with objects, seeing how they look together. Can I make sense of why they're there, what purpose they serve, that kind of thing. Originally, I had wanted a lot of water features coming from the ceiling because the idea in my head when we first started talking about this theme was that with the pond above ground, I wanted the pond to feed the laboratory experiments underground. So I wanted some way of connecting the two. And in the beginning, I really couldn't think of a good way to do that and have it look all right. But you can see I've kind of maybe come up with an all right idea of using, this is his favorite piece of the Ichthian furniture, and I did have it back here, if you recall, over where this one is. But I've moved it to center stage because he's mentioned it a few times that it's his favorite piece. So I've moved it to center stage, and then I've added or raised up the original tank that I'd had here, enlarged it, and I'm hoping to kind of symbolize that the pond above is where he's using to draw his water source. You know, that's where all this water and all the creatures and plants and things are coming from, or that he's maybe importing things into that pond above, you know, maybe a back and forth kind of thing. I don't know if that really works well, but I'm hoping that's kind of the idea that's coming off. I of course don't have too much in here, and one of the things he's been worried about is these tanks. If you notice, they're pretty cloudy looking. It's kind of hard to see what's inside them. The bigger they get, as you know, the lighter the coloring is, especially on the bottom part. But he's talked about maybe adjusting the lighting in the room itself to accommodate for that, to make it easier to see what's inside it. Because he says he knows that, like, there's a tree trunk here with a bunch of mushrooms on it, but you really can't see that from here. Even when you go up close, it's a trick to kind of, you have to really get real close and, you know, angle just certain ways to be able to even notice if there's anything in there. So there's some details that he's mentioning that it's just not ideal to be able to showcase those, which is why I've been kind of enlarging these. As you'll see here, probably at least the bottom half will be a bit more visible if I put anything inside it. So that'll be a plus. But my idea of having lots of those from the ceiling, I don't think is going to play very well. Not just because we have so few pieces that work nicely with that, but I really don't want to break up the view too much. He did ask me if I was planning on enclosing any of this laboratory area off from the rest. And I really, I've given it some thought, and I've looked into maybe adding walls or balconies or railings or whatever. And there's two things that is keeping me from doing that. One, the curves. A lot of the curved lines that you see created with the hover park pieces, it is extremely difficult to find, to make the curves with other pieces without using like tons of them to kind of get it to piece together and follow that curve nicely. Because a lot of the curves aren't the same shape as, like, say, these rounds and these half walls. These are more circular, and this is more, I don't know, oval or just an off kind of degree. Secondly, like I said, I like the open feel of it. The enclosed space I saved more for his private quarters with the kitchen and the dining and everything. So I think because the lab is the main focus, and this is more or less a majority of the plot, I mean, this particular room is dedicated to that, I want to keep it open so he can stand anywhere and keep an eye on things, so that if maybe an experiment is going a little wonky, he can rush to it and fix it and that kind of thing. And, you know, from over here, even if he's up here enjoying a book, he can still, you know, enjoy the view of some of the specimens that he has on display over here as well. So something like that. He did like the difference in kind of feel. This is more clinical. cold and specific, and this is more casual. He called it delicate, I think. I think it's mostly because of the glass, which is something he did kind of suggest that he would like to see more of. You can see some leftover glass here that he missed removing. He was experimenting with some of the glassworks himself yesterday and playing around with some ideas of enclosing it in some way with glass, with designs or something. So I'm going to see if I can come up with something along those lines as well. But for today, I think we're going to work on bringing more of this Oran pillar coloring, spreading it around not only up here in the library area, but we're going to drop some of those pieces into the private quarters area as well. Basically, he liked the color because it kind of mimics, sort of, the gold of the Ichthian decor, and he wants that carried out throughout. So you'll see that the kind of lounge chairs that I had put in before, I've just added some pieces to kind of tie them in together, kind of, you know, make it matchy-matchy and spread that out. You can also see I've been playing around with ideas for lighting as well, because if he does darken it to help the view inside the tanks, he's going to need some lights here and there to kind of brighten certain areas, like the terrariums, the library, the kitchen, that kind of thing. So, you know, that's another thing you have to think about. Not only is that a specific count for your lights, but it also is included in your decor place. So it's another big deal. You don't want to fill up everything and then forget about adding all your lights in too. So that would be bad. You'd be left with a dark house. So the other day we worked a little bit on the aquarium. I've been debating on whether or not I really need anything else. I'm not sure. It feels like it's missing something, but I'm not quite sure what. I could add more plants. I just don't want to get it too crowded. And while there are some like jellyfish and maybe another aquatic, I wish he had like a sunfish. That would be good. You know, something different. But I don't think he has one of those. Maybe it's something I can get him, because the only other stuff he has at the moment are non-aquatic versions of little plushies. So either I'll have to hunt one of those up on the AH or something, or I'll get lucky and get it as a drop for him. But I think we're going to call this done for now. But I really like the way it looks. Just kind of, I don't know. I didn't want to overdo it, but I didn't want to underdo it either. It's a hard line to walk. But just so that it's sort of done and out of the way, we at least got one element kind of finished. Over here, we'll go ahead and install the glass. And since he's got quite a few of these, let's use the walnut one since there's fewer of those. Just pop these in. Actually, let's use the blue. Do we have any blue ones? Yeah, we'll just use the ones. I think these are the ones I had originally. Now, when you're using the blue, whoops, a little too big. The blue water, the blue glass for water, it helps to layer it to kind of deepen the color. But be careful about the blue layering it too much, because it does start to turn, looks foggy and almost like ice. It's great if that's what you're going for. I imagine we'll probably have at least a few ice ponds for skating and stuff. for winter this year, but if that's not what you're going for, if you're just trying to give it the illusion of water, I would suggest keeping the layers to a minimum. I usually go for about 3. And what I do is I put in 1 layer and then I offset just a little bit each time. I don't know why, partly is so that it makes sure that it doesn't flicker when you've got 2 objects overlapping to like directly on top of each other, but I don't know, I just think it just works better that way. So I'm gonna clone that and then and thankfully you'll notice that the copy clone now keeps the handlebars on the object that's cloned, so you can just go boop and move it. Works really good. So there's our water. Notice that the rock is kind of intruding, so I'm going to have to adjust that now to make sure it's tucked in far enough. Otherwise it looks like the rock is coming out of the aquarium, and we don't really want that. We want that to be a solid pane of glass to protect the viewer. So there's that. Now I'll probably end up having to go back in and save Mr. Gar back there. I think I just covered up part of his nose. So let's see if we can find him. Wish we had a search function on this thing. I could just type in plushie and it'd take me right to it, but no. Let's go. Just like leaps with the thing. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay. So there's the aquarium. It almost looks like a giant washing machine the way I have it set up. I may have to change that later, but for now it's all right. I just mainly wanted like a water valve, some controls, and to make it look like they're controlling the temperature and maybe the salt content. I don't know. It would have been lovely if I'd been able to keep the coloring of the walls the same, but unfortunately the Hover Park brown is different from the the Exile brown, so that's just one of those things. Let's see. So, to the library. Now, he did say he understood if it would be a little too decor hungry if I decided to expand the library. Oh man, my nose is itching again. So we're not going to do that, but I think we are going to continue with the idea that I had here by just adding some various tables, chairs, couches, whatever, to kind of just give it the feel of almost like a public library, but it's cozy enough to stay personal, and having these little showcases here. Now the trouble with this one in particular is it's great where it is, it works fine, it looks lovely, but to duplicate it exactly anywhere else along here is going to be impossible, because I have this planter inset into the floor, and you'll see there's a big portion that's hidden. Well, I can't do that everywhere else because it will poke through the floor, because they don't have that extra little thickness down there. So either I make each one unique to the location that I put it, so that I don't have to worry about making everything exactly the same and get away with it, or I modify this one so that it doesn't require this little bit down here to hide anything. That would probably require this being actually smaller, which I really don't want to do. So I think what we'll do is we'll keep the big ones on the ends, and then we'll have a few smaller ones on the side, over closer to the book shelves. I'm also contemplating trying to come up with a way to make a globe, because that's I was trying to think, well, what kind of accents or decorations does a library normally have? And I'm not talking like the public school library or something like that. I'm talking like a personal home library. And atlases and globes and stuff is kind of a typical thing, maybe. The trouble is, I don't know what would be a good representation for land structures. I mean, the globe is the easy part, I think, because you could just get a couple of the domes and cap them together, and then you have your little globe. But do I want to take it to the extent of showing like some little land formations on it, and how would I do that? That's the tricky part, because I don't think I want to aim for like exactness, you know, looking at a Nexus globe and seeing, you know, okay, there's a structure here and a continent over there, and, you know, this is all water and that kind of thing. I don't think we want to get that detailed. I think maybe we'll just do the idea of it being a globe kind of deal. The main thing I'm going to have to worry about is I don't want to use the Orin one because that looks too plain. I'm hoping we can get away with using maybe the Draken one because it's got the rocky bits. So it's kind of like bits of land, I guess. I don't know. Maybe the Chua one because it's kind of splotchy, or maybe it's the Granok. Let me see. Let's just have a look. Yeah, I can see the Chua one's kind of got little patches that could represent patches of land. The Granok one is probably the best because it's more smooth. It doesn't look as like it's got rivets and stuff in it. So that'll probably be the ideal one to use for. And it's good because it should show up nicely against the brown. The other trick is to figure out how we're going to do the stand for it. Is it going to be one that's got the circular bit around it, which will be tricky because we don't really have any handy round flat pieces. The closest we have is some of the windows of the Orin flavor, but there's plates and things like that we could use. And then you need the little curved cookie thing that it sits on that you would spin it with or whatever. And so yeah, that'll be fun to try and figure out. So I think that's where we'll start. We'll start with the globe because I'm thinking there's more room space to fill up over here than there is over there. So we're going to plop it out here somewhere. And I guess we'll just go ahead and get a couple of those domes. Let's just say the Granok ones, yeah. Now I will say that you'll notice me today buying things for approximately how many I think I'm going to use, rather than just cloning them straight from the shop, because currently, at least it was so yesterday that I noticed, when I do a copy clone, if I don't already have it in the crate, it gives me an error. I'm pretty sure Katy is already aware of that. I think I saw somebody mentioning it on her curse page for this add-on, so I'm sure it's in the works to be taken care of. In fact, it might have already done, I just haven't gone to check. But as well, just a quick note, I did use the new sets feature to duplicate the couch from one side to the other. Basically, I just, this couch, this one in particular was actually over here, and I linked it all up. Well, I didn't link it up first, I just had the pieces sitting there. I opened up the sets tool, and you'll see it's still saved in there, which I'll probably just clear for now. But what you do is you just right click it to select the item, and then you add it, and you just keep adding till it's the whole amount of decor that you've used in this particular build. And then what I did was after that, I linked it, and then I moved it over here, and then I said place all, and it just went boop, 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 and built it for me right there. I was like, wow, that was easy. So it's exactly like this. It's just that the original I moved out of the way. That way I didn't have the copy land right on top of the original and have trouble trying to pick out all of the pieces from it. You could probably do it that way, but I found this easier, and I'm pretty sure Katya suggested the same thing. So the only trouble I did have is when I moved the original, I had linked it up to move it, and when I went to rotate it slightly, everything kind of went borky. Try not to panic when that happens. Usually it's just a matter of readjusting the angles that you wanted it set at individually, and it'll pop right back. So you can see it looks essentially the same. It's all it's missing is the book, which I didn't want that copied, but it saved a lot of time in trying to figure out, okay, what's the height of this one and what's the position of that one. It's just all the same. So anyway, back to the globe. First, I think we'll go ahead and let's just get some whites going on here, because if we don't, I'm gonna be like worried about the lighting. So I'm just kind of eyeballing about how much space I have between these two here, and I'm going to try and space some more out about the same. So it's not really an exact count of panels because some are narrower than the others, so just kind of getting an idea maybe of where it is. So again, it's probably not going to be exact, and I'll probably adjust it as I go around it, but hopefully we can kind of get something going. And of course I have to keep rotating it because the wall is curved. But I love these sconces. They've got a nice soft light. It's not like the I think it's the standing brass lamp. That thing's like boom, it's like alien abduction light, you know. It's that cone, and it's not only on the bottom, but it's on the top, so it looks like, I don't know, weird. I never use that particular lamp. I hate that lighting on it. Whoops, I just completely did that wrong, didn't I? Oh, wait a minute. That's the error I'm talking about. It's giving me invalid decor error, and that's because I don't have those in the inventory. So hold on a second. Let me buy a couple of orange sconces. It's unfortunate it doesn't give you that error until after the fact, but we'll just create a few of those. That's what I'm talking about. It kind of gives you, it won't clone from the shop anymore directly. I know that's not intended. That's just something that popped up with the latest update that she did for the add-on. So I'm sure a fix is coming if it hasn't already. Now you'll notice I click on things sometimes and they don't register as me clicking on them, and that's because of the way I have some of this furniture in the room. Sometimes I think it's actually selecting what's above me because it thinks that it's technically in my line of sight, and that's what I'm clicking on. It's kind of like when you've got some trees in front of something and you go to click on the something and you're actually clicking on the leaves of the trees or something, and that's kind of what happens. It kind of leads to accidents every now and then, but I try to be careful about that. Just checking the height because I think these come in a little different. Yeah, it's a little off, so I'll just Fix that up so it's about the same all the way around. So I'll probably be able to get one more in over here. So oh, please don't do that. I think I just hit it in the wall there. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's orange. Orange. Or not. What is that? Yeah, it's orange. Orange window, glass. Oh, okay. I see what it is. I think I might have copied that one again. I don't know. Well, we'll just do this again. Whoops, don't click the wall. Okay, there we go. Let's see. What do you think? A little close to the bookcase, I think, will work. It'll not only provide light for the bookcase, but kind of help finish up the lighting along the side here. Let's see about how that looks. A little too wide, maybe. More or less about the right width, sort of. Need to bring it down a bit. Give us 82. Yeah. Okay, why is that not letting me place? There we go. Okay. So I think that looks all right as far as the spacing. Like little buttons. Buttons on there. And then what we'll do, well, don't mind the jittering. The jittering is not the game, that's just my camera. I tend to play with my camera zoomed out a lot, but when the ceiling is low like this, and I start moving around, it jiggles. Because the camera can't decide, do I want to be in, do I want to be out? So I kind of, I wig it out a little bit. That's just my camera thing. I think what we'll do is, I'll probably copy the couch thing again a couple more times to just round that out, and then put the globe right in the middle. That way it's kind of filled in. Might add either that, or I'm gonna set up a different kind of seating. I'm not sure what exactly. I could do a round, a half moon thing, kind of like I did with the seating downstairs. The only thing is, I think the seating downstairs is quite a bit sunk down into the floor, so that might be an issue. I've seen some really nice couches with some of the curved half walls and stuff, but again, can't really do that here because you've got the down below that it would be intruding. So I may end up having to stick with this, but maybe a different configuration of it. The main problem is I can't move them away from the wall because I'm actually using functioning chairs here, and they have that big tall blue back. And I have that tucked in. That's why the legs look a little weird back here, which I'm still debating on whether or not to extend this backing all the way down to the floor to kind of cover that up, The only reason I'm holding off is because, as I said before, I've been really watchful of how many items I'm adding to the crate, because we do have limited space, so I don't want to overcrowd it with too much beyond what I really need to. But since he specifically asked for more of this orange yellow, I've got to include some pieces, but where I can kind of get away with not, I'm holding off until later. If we see later that we got plenty of space, then I'll add extra in. But for now, let's tackle that globe. We'll see how big we're going to make it, and then what we might can fit on either side of it. So, dome. Need a dome. Those usually come in pretty big, so I gotta move away from it. Now, do we want it like super small, sort of big, not too big? That kind of looks like a good size. Sort of. We'll see what it looks like when we put the other half on there. Let me just move away, just in case. And straighten this up. Trying to see if there's like any kind of a gap there. Looks all right, I think. So we got this big globe, but no holder. So what to use as a holder? I'm not really even sure what a globe holder looks like. I think some of them have like a round piece where it's kind of like sitting, almost being cradled by the wood piece that it sits in, and then it's got like a little connection here, and then a connection up top, and then you just spin it that way. There's also the ones where the ball is in a holder, but it's kind of slanted, and it's just got the two ticks, and then it's got the bar going around on the side. So, let's see. First, I guess we'll link these two together to kind of keep them snug. And I'll worry about the tilting of the thing later, because if I do tilt it, I want to make sure that I'm trying to move the whole thing around. When you tilt something and then you move it, sometimes the little bars act a little funny, so I want to keep it straight for now. So we need some kind of a base, something that has a curvy thing, and then the little hooky things. So let's see what he's got in the crate that we might can use to avoid buying if we have to, unless we have to. Not that we're hurting for money or anything, it's just space that we're having to think about. What to use. Don't need anything moving or smoking or no plants. That's noisy. Not the good color. I'm thinking I have a few items running through my head that could probably work, but I'm fairly confident he doesn't have some of them in his crate. So I'm trying to be dutiful and checking the crate, see what's in it before I go spending more decor space. Yeah, I'd gotten a couple of these yesterday because I was trying to see about, again, trying to find ways to connect the water to the lab. And since we don't have like water tubes per se, I was looking for objects that might work. So I'm mentioning this in case someone else is watching that is also uh, trying to come up with something. You might consider using this particular doohickey, the strain tubes. It's kind of awkward because there were so many little feeler points. I had them poking out all over through the ceiling and they didn't line up just so. But you know, if that's not an issue for you and you can maybe get one or two to line up for whatever you're wanting to do, that's an option. It's just it didn't work out for this particular setup. But it's the right color, which was good. It did have those little purplish red bulby things on it, but you know, I thought, well, think of it like maybe that's the weird white tree's roots or something, and it just looks odd, you know. So it kind of worked all right, but it's just the positioning of the tubes themselves was a little awkward. So I come up with a different setup. But yeah, it's just things like that you fiddle around with, and you know, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't, then you know, go back to the drawing board and try to figure out something that will work. So far I see nada, nothing. He's got great items, but not ones that I think I can get away with. Which is unfortunate, but we'll figure it out. I wish the sewer entrance, if I remember right, it's got the lid that pops open, which is cool, but it's a solid black on the bottom. I wish it was just an actual empty little cap. That way, you know, when you pop it open, you could actually use it as a door. I don't know, I just said that, blurted that out there. I happened to be looking at it and thought about it. I mean, people have found creative ways to use it, even as it is, but I think that would have been that much more handy. I don't know, I don't think that would work at all. Just looking for something for our globe. Our poor, poor globe. See, I'm also looking for round stuff that might could be used for that center bit if I decide to go that route. I can't find anything that I think will really look and not have it look completely retarded. I'll opt for that, but like the white plate, I think it will look weird there. I don't know, maybe it would kind of be symbolic of the little circle of stuff that's floating around the Nexus, but then if I remember right, there's two of them, they're like crisscross or something, so I don't think I want to do that. It'd be ideal if this was blue and green, wouldn't it? That would be awesome. So yeah, that would be a fun tool. Oh, okay, Bones. Thanks for dropping by, and I hope the electricity gets back on soon. But that's something I would really love to have added. You know, I've heard people talk about terrain painting tools and things, but I would just love the option to be able to repaint the existing decor, much similar to like how we do dyes for costume. To have decor that have specific kind of like dye bits that can be changed. Because it would be awesome if we could change, you know, this to a blue and a green instead of the gray and gray. Or to change the floor coloring of the wood. You know, maybe we don't always want brown wood. Maybe we want that golden brown wood or a richer green wood. You know, folks have found ways to get past that with other materials, but to give flooring and walls and certain things other colors, but I think that would really open up a lot of doors, so to speak. We were able to have certain dye channels that we can manipulate on decor. Even if it was just limited to building blocks, I would be on cloud 9 with that. Pumpkin. No. Still looking for stuff for the... I don't know why that one doesn't have a preview. I'm sure it has to do something with it being the hollow thing, but I think there'd be something there. Anything? I just don't see anything at all that will work. That doesn't require, hiding half of it into the floor, which I won't be able to do very easily. Statues, relics. Huh. Now this might make an okay stand for it. Maybe? I'm gonna set that out just to try it. Because, it's gold, which is a plus. We're, going for gold accents and stuff. I wonder... don't think those will work, but I'm going to put them down anyway. Man, they're huge. I'll have to get a good shrinky dink when I decide to try that. Fancy table. No. It's gold and everything, which is a plus, but it's a different kind of gold. Well, I don't know. It kind of matches that, doesn't it? That might be too goldy. I don't know. Bow ties. Alice. I think I've got other plans for that. Mailbox. The mailboxes and the chairs, a lot of them have some great elements, but so perturbing because you don't want them active as a chair or something or a mailbox if you're using them in other ways. Because especially with the mailbox, it has that little icon that floats around and kind of disrupts whatever you're trying to use it for. So I've used the fishy one, the Granok mailbox that looks like a fish. I've used it for when I'm trying to mimic somebody that's fishing and they've got the little net or a bucket and they got that little fish in there. Or I've done one where I've tried to use it as a hunter and they got the little plaque with the fish on it. I've done that a few times, but it's so annoying because it's got that, well, one, there's the icon on the mini map for it, and of course it lights up when you hover over it because it wants to use it as a mailbox, but now it's got that little icon floating above it, so that's kind of ruins the moment. Well, I don't know. Maybe that would work for part of it. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna put that in. Wow, that's big. Look at the size of that thing. That is so huge. Wow. Sometimes I wish they had 2 different ways it came in one for exterior and one for interior. For interior, it like needs to like be half the size. Just, I mean, you can always adjust it now if you need to make it bigger again. But wow, that's huge. It's like got part of me inside it now. Crazy big. Almost brought tears to my eyes. Actually, I think it's just I'm still trying to wake up. How shameful is that? It's like almost 9 o'clock in the morning and I'm still yawning and sleepy. I'm admiring some of his spooky stuff because I'm already planning on redoing my own plot, and I've been jotting down ideas. I've had some thoughts. Like I said, I like to plan in advance. So like back in June, July, somewhere around there, I was already planning things for Shades Eve and stuff. Thinking about different types of themes I could go with, and not just themes, but ideas for those themes. You know, you can have a Shades Eve theme, but you know, what does that exactly entail? You know, a mad scientist lab or something. You know, have like a Frankenstein table with all electricity stuff going on, and like that. You know, that would be cool. Have like a Frankenstein plushie with all these little plushie parts, you know, stitched together. You know, I'm giving ideas, people. You can use those for your stuff, or maybe I'll do it and we'll see who's comes out the weirdest looking. But in fact, I'm gonna write that down. But it's just, I see all the stuff he has, and I'm thinking, I could use that, and I could use that, and hey, that'll work for this. And I need to concentrate, stick with the globe, find stuff for the globe. Don't want to use lampposts or anything like that because not only does it detract from, I mean, it's not being used like it should be, but for the lighting, but it counts against the lighting, even if I'm not using it as lighting. Which I already have some pieces that are being done that way, but I want to keep that to a minimum if I can. See, those would be good. Now, I think we're going to have to go, well, we'll give the pieces that we pulled out a try, but I think we may end up having to stick with some other things, but we'll see. Let's see if I can, am I completely stuck inside this thing? Wow, that's still really big. Might not even be able to shrink it down to a good size. Like, super huge. I think we'll skip this one. That was too golden. See, these are gold, but they're like I don't know, aged. I don't know how to say that. Which is funny because I'm usually all the time just rattling on, but can't think of the word. Okay, let's just see if we can get this to kind of behave like we might want it to. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with this, but we will see. I'm trying to figure out what angle this should be at. It's like something like that. I feel like that's still too big. Okay, that's too small. I don't know, something about the base is not right. But maybe I can fix that with the table here. Problem is, I'm gonna want to sink it down because I don't know if I want that the legs to be showing. Maybe it's gonna be smaller than I'm thinking. Just bear with me because that's how this goes. I just kind of fiddle with it till it feels like it's kind of, sort of, like it's supposed to be. Let's see. Feels like I'm not sure what it is. Maybe I just want to keep, I don't want to get too weird. Do that to the side. Like I like it's like it's got an extra leg that it doesn't need or something. I'm not quite sure. How do we do this? I think that's what it is. I feel like I'm missing, like, shouldn't have this part here and that should be out here maybe. Instead of equally on the one arm, it should be like all the way to the side. I think that's what's bothering me. So let's just do it like, see, then it looks like it doesn't want to spin on that. I think that's what's bugging me. Yeah. And wow, the sun is really coming in bright. Probably glowing. Yeah, I'm like glowing underneath. Okay, it's making it hard to see as well. Let's just if I oops, the top one first. Yeah, see, it just it feels wrong. So let's just do it this way. It's a nice piece, but I think I won't get rid of it. I'll just put that here because I like the coloring and stuff. I might find a use for it somewhere else in some other form or fashion. But I think what we'll do is we'll use this table as the base of this really huge globe. And now I know that this add-on has a way of centering pieces amongst others, but I think it's between, like if I have two lamps and I want to put something right in between, probably to help me like space out my lights or something. This add-on supposedly helps with that, but I have yet to really figure out how that works, so I'm not even going to try it because I will really mess myself up. So I'll just do this my old-fashioned way. So I'm just kind of winging it here as far as it. The other thing just felt like it didn't fit right, so I'm going to try and is that turned? It's I need to move it by object so it'll quit going squarely on me. Alright, just see if there's anything sticking out. I don't think there. That's probably a little too. Anyway, put it about half. Okay. this. So I think, I don't know what angle I should put it at, but make it 45, I guess. Probably gonna need to really shrink this up a bit, but oh, crud. Oh, right. Forgot to buy another dynamite. I was like, why is it not copying it? It's because I don't own one. I knew it. That again. Really looks like it's just gonna fall over, doesn't it? It's just like, looks completely unbalanced, but I'm pretty sure most of them, that's exactly what they look like. They just kind of, maybe this should be more like an angle and then have this in the center. Maybe that's what I'm feeling is a little off. It could be it. So let's problem I'm having is this got a point on it, so I think I'll rotate this one. Okay. Down. I have so many of these little dynamites. It's one little piece and put in a couple more. We don't have to worry about it. And rotate this one. So. It's really hard for me to even see what I'm doing here. The light in the room is so bright. Just a reminder for anybody that happens to be watching, I do have NA and EU CPT codes to give out. So if that interests you at all, please be welcome to mention it. I do have those pass out to those interested in getting into the PT. Would be the PTR for the free-to-play version of WildStar. Just kind of shrinking these down. It still feels a little too big, so I'm just kind of popping these a little more. This as well, so it's still too big. Just adjusting, readjusting. It's just a game of what feels right. Mostly I'm trying to make this look a little more balanced than it did. So it doesn't look like it's about to tip over. So I'm trying to put the table and stuff more centered underneath the globe, but having the arm kind of connect it all so that it looks like it's being firmly supported at the same time. Not easy task. Really hard to get up in there and see just where is what. Kind of coming along all right. Just need to change this up a bit. There we go. I think that's pretty close to what I was aiming for. Whoops, I just spit on myself. So there's a globe. Something a little extra decor. No, we don't have a globe decor, so we've made one. Let's see if we can link all this up together so that we move it as needed. I'm missing a piece. And then just hopefully, I suspect the globes themselves are probably going to go boom, and when I try to move it. But let's see if that was lucky. Usually that's kind of a bad thing. There we go. So there's a globe. Just a little thing, and you know, think of how many pieces I had to use to make it, but you know, it makes it that much more his own kind of thing, because I don't think too many other people have globes in their library. So now he's got one. Let's see. I'm not really sure I want to just duplicate the couches straight up, but I think I may have no choice at this moment. If I decide to not use them up here, I may put one downstairs. In fact, I could replace this here with one of them, which probably would be a good idea, just to kind of mix it up, but keep it the same sort of. So let's see if I can do this without it blowing up on me. And I'll try and show you the way I did it yesterday to get the copy over. So what I did, and it's kind of tricky because like I said, I have trouble with selecting some things, so you'll see me zooming around up close just to get right in on it. Let's just do this one over here since it's closer to the position where we're going to move it anyway. So first things first, I open up the sets tool and you'll see that it's blank, and you have the option to create several sets. So, and as you will have noticed when I logged in and was checking it earlier, it actually had one that I had done yesterday still saved into the program, so it will remember it. So I imagine eventually, or maybe I hope eventually, she will have some additional thing where you can save a set and export it out in some way so that someone else can import it, and that way, like say someone else wants this couch on their plot, they can just take that set that I export and import it into theirs. The main thing you'd have to have is like, I don't know, like a shopping list. You'd have to say, okay, you need 6 of these, 2 of those, and 1 of this. And if you've got all that in your crate, and then you hit place all with this imported into your little set thing, then it should pop it right out. The problem with that is probably positioning. I think that's what this is for the relocate. I would assume that's what that means, but I haven't tested it, so I don't know. And I'm kind of hoping she does a demo video to kind of explain a little clearer as to how this all technically works. But I just did this yesterday with a little experimentation on my own, and kind of got it to work. So we're going to attempt it again. But basically what I did was I just went piece by piece and I added it in. And it doesn't say like Ord Pillar 1 or anything like that. It just remembers the bits. So I'm going to add them piece by piece. So you'll see it's got all of the orange pillars and then the 2 cushioned wooden chair blue entered into it. Now, as I said, if I just hit place all, it will pop it all right on top of the one that's already there. And it might get a little confusing as to what's what. You could probably link a set up and just move it straight from that, but if I recall right, she suggested linking up the one that's already here, moving that down, and then when you hit place all, it just pops it back into where you had it originally. So since I want one here, I'm going to move the existing one down below. So to do that, fingers crossed. Let's see, I think this one I'm using as the main link. The only thing I have to link up with the rest of it is the 2 seats. So I'm going to do that now. I didn't see them light up. It might be already connected and it just doesn't light up like the others do. Yeah, it's just that it doesn't light up purple like the others, so I wasn't sure. So in theory, if this works proper, I can just move this down. Kind of didn't really check to see about the height of where it's sitting. I'm just gonna drop that here just for now. I'll move it later. And then we'll go back upstairs. Now I don't have the couch up here, but we're gonna try her add-on real quick. And we're just gonna say place all. She gives me an error. You can see that it's trying to do it, but it's not doing it. Okay, well, didn't quite work right, did it? It might be because of the chairs themselves might be making it go squirrely, but okay, what we'll do is yeah, it just gave me a ton of errors on there, so not completely bug-free on that part. What I'm going to do, I'm going to lift this back up. I'm going to test it to see if it's just the chairs that's bugging it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the height of this. At 190.34. There's my couch back. Oops. I click the floor. Okay, so what we're going to do is try and get her add-on to come back up. And we're going to clear the set that's already in. And we're going to redo the set minus the chairs. I'm testing this for my own sake and for hers. If it is the chairs that's bugging it out, then that's something she should, know about. So again, we're going to, maybe I should unlink it. That might be the problem as well. So let's just unlink everything. I think I can do it from here. Okay, so let's try it with the chairs too, but not have it all linked together. That might have what bugged it out as well. Maybe. I don't know. We're just gonna do some experimenting for her. So let's add each piece again. Okay, so now we got it all saved again. Now I'm going to link it again. I don't know why it keeps telling me I can't place. I think it's really the chairs that's wigging it out. They act weird anyway. So just to test to see if, see that one chair is not wanting to link up. Try it again. Okay, so we're going to move this down again. Oopsie daisy. And now we'll try to do the place all, and it should, in theory, rebuild it up here. Okay, maybe it's because I don't have the pieces in the inventory. Let's try that. There's 5 orange pillars and 2 of the chairs. Let's just make sure that's what's causing the problems first. 5 orange pillars, because in reality her add-on should be taking stuff from the vendor, but how many do we got now? 5, and then the blue. Chairs. Oops. Okay, let's do her add-on thing again. We just. It's probably not her add-on at all. It's just me. Okay. Fingers crossed this time. Wow, it's building it over there. That's just... No. Well, I think it remembered a different one, so dang it. I have to try it again. Also, I think it's not liking things set into the wall as well, which is weird. So it should set it up exactly like you have it. I was able to do this yesterday. I don't know what I did differently today, but yeah, I think it just it remembered the set before the error, I think is what it was. So I think it only copied the wood pieces here. Okay. I don't think it copied the chairs because that wasn't part of the listing here. So let me clear this again. The good thing this one's easy to move up and down because we'll probably be having a heart attack right about now. I am determined to get this to work. Okay, so I need to get the right height. At 190.34. Okay, I'm going to unlink these things one more time. And then we're going to enter them into the add-on again. One piece at a time. This is like the least favorable demonstration of her add-on ever, but I'm doing my best. Okay, so we've got the 5 pillars and the 2 chairs. Okay, now I'm going to reconfirm that we have enough pillars in the inventory. Got 5 orange pillars and then the cushioned chairs, yes. Okay, now, again, I'm going to link these up. If it doesn't work this time, we're just going to call it good. And I'll wait for the demo. That's all I can say about it. Because if I keep messing with this, I am bound to really screw something up, and I'm going to be so mad at myself. It's one thing you got to remember. If you're having trouble with something in housing and you're getting frustrated, the best thing to do is just walk away for a little bit, take a break. Same is true if you're kind of at a loss of ideas or something, and it's good to get away, step out, just put it out of your mind and wait till inspiration hits. Don't force it, because if you really have no ideas to throw around, then you're just going to be kind of banging your head against the wall. I've come into that a couple of times with this, and Thove has been very understanding about any time I might need. He doesn't expect me to have this ready for him at the blink of an eye, so I've been able to kind of step away, do something else in place for a little bit, and just kind of get the perspective I need, so that when I do come in and come up with little doodads like that, more entertaining and fun for myself. Okay, we have the original moved. We're hoping, fingers crossed, that everything, all the planets align and all that. So we're gonna hit place all. Oh, it's working. There you go. There's your other couch. Work like a charm. It was just me. It's not her add-on at all. It's just, I think, one, make sure it's not linked. I think that might just help, just to be safe. But for sure, you have to make sure the pieces that you need are already in your inventory. It will not buy it straight off of the auction house. I mean, the housing vendor, even though it may be set up, it may be intended that that's how it works. So keep that in mind if you're using this. Make sure you have the pieces already in your crate, because I think that's what was messing it up. It was like it was like, where do I get this stuff? I'm trying to put it in, but you don't have the stuff, woman. So it's all good. So now, my next trick, that's probably not going to go as smoothly as that one, is I'm going to try and move this to where this one is, without it going spasmic on me. So let's see if we can do that. First, I'm going to, or I should have, checked to see the height of these. Still a little big, but I guess if he's got guests that aren't orange size, it might be nice to use it as like a little day bed or something too. If he decides he wants me to lower those, that's fine, but I really want to get kind of an idea of how high this is, so that I can match the lower one to the same height. So it's kind of waist height almost. Kind of hard to get the same perspective here. I think it needs to come up a bit. Just a bit. Oops, I'm standing too close to it. Okay. Now the fun part, because the last time I tried to move this entire set, it just kind of, things started twisting on me and it had me panicking, and I don't know what it was doing, but I'm hoping it cooperates, which it seems to be doing. We will get rid of the wooden bench. And then have to deal with the purple pillows that are sandwiched inside there now. I'm going to go ahead and use them on this as well, just because they're there. Might as well. And it will help differentiate between this one and the one above. So I can't see the other one since it's right on top of it. So I think it was around purple pillow. I'm gonna look up the name real quick. Yeah, round purple. So let's go to the R's. And there he is. He was hiding, but we found him. Oh, Mr. Carrot, get off of there. See, because you're on it. Now, maybe the green of the seat doesn't quite go with the purple of the pillows, but we're going to leave it for now. Because he's got these pillows, and I need to, you know, again, I'm trying to utilize at least a good portion of what he's already got. And the only reason I'm adding in these extra custom-built bits is because he has specifically asked to bring in more of that orange yellow. And unfortunately, not all of the orange building blocks have this color. If you go to the building blocks, the orange stuff is like got like the white, and then the floor and the walls. It's all white, but then the pillars are this golden. So I don't know why those aren't white too. Of course, I'm glad they're not, because they work really well with this particular theme, but it's like some of the granite stuff has got the brown with the rope on it, and then when you go to the other and it looks like metal, like this. I don't know who was thinking what when they put those sets together, but so there, we got an extra couch, and it worked. Okay, so now, do I add more of these couches? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask him specifically if he minds having those extra couches here, or if he wants something else. I almost say put the couches there and then put something else over here. But I'm not going to clear this up, because if I go ahead and go with adding the other couches here, basically what I'll do is I'll just move this one over there, and then I'll and pop it back out again, and then do that again. That would be the easiest. So I will leave this memory in there so that I can do that later. I do know I want to add another one of these fold chairs. I don't know what you call those. Dome seat? Dome chair? Circle chair? The donut? The magic donut? I don't know. I'm going to add another one on this side, kind of facing the other direction. But I don't want to crowd this up too much, because, you know, this is where the folks will come and first enter, so you don't want to crowd it up too much. I had thought about adding in some kind of a special flooring, but most of the rugs we have just look gaudy here. They don't blend well. I tried different ways of putting some floor pieces together to kind of make a little pattern, but it just started looking like a weird chessboard, so I didn't want that. And I don't know, I just prefer leaving all the wood. So I'm happy that we actually got to show a successful use of Katya's Builder Toolkit pet feature. And I think we're going to call it good there because I do have some other things to take care of today. We actually have seen some in real life housing going on. We are rebuilding our driveway. And my husband is in fact out there hammering away and digging in the sand. So I'm going to be checking on that, doing my, supervising kind of thing. I have helped place some of the bricks, and because it's not just the driveway we're doing the walkway that leads up to the front door, and we're also doing, or we did, a small path that leads to the back garage. And I actually did some physical work. I put the bricks down in a pretty little pattern. My son was the one that showed me how to do it because he's studying to be a yard or garden architect. He's learning all the tools and the plants and all the ins and outs of that. So he's decided to take it up on himself to make our home yard a project for himself, to try it. I don't know if it's to prove to himself that he can do it, or not only that, but maybe to potential employers or something, his instructors or whatever. But it's really turned into a family project. It's a huge undertaking to redo the driveway. It's already been kind of demolished for the last almost a month, I think, because it's like every time we get into a step of it, and the weather changes, and it gets, that's one great thing about WildStar housing. You don't, even if it's raining on your plot, that doesn't stop you from building, because when it rains here, then there's not much you can do out there. But I've been learning about all the ins and outs of actual real life construction, because it's not just as simple as laying down the bricks. You've got to have the borders installed, and then you have to have the stabilization stuff, the sand and everything that goes underneath that, and then you got to pound it, and then you got to square it all up and make it perfectly flat, and then you lay in your pattern, and then your pattern, depending on how wide it is, maybe you have to cut some of the bricks to fit just right. And it's like, ugh, it's well beyond me, but they're doing a really fantastic job, and I have helped a little bit. But yeah, that's some real life housing for you. But at least we got a few things done today. I think most of it was, me pulling my hair out about the stupid couch trying to copy it. But as you get more familiar with the tools that you're given, you start to get the hang of it. And that's true of anything, even, beyond the add-on, just the basic housing tools with the advanced mode and everything. A lot of beginner housers are like, oh my God, I can't even figure out the best way to do it is just to get in, dive in, and just play around with it. The worst that can happen is you might lose some time. But you can always refix it. It's not the end of the world. If it turns into be that serious for you, maybe you might want to step back a little bit and just take some perspective. It is just a game. It's just decorating. A lot of the mistakes I've done are little things that have kind of exploded on me or whatever. Yeah, it's frustrating, but from some of those have come other ideas. In the beginning, I didn't think about the bottom of objects, the bottom of crates and things. And the first time I accidentally flipped something, I was like, wow, that's got a pretty nifty texture there. And it got me more and more to where now when I get a new item, I put it in and I just start twirling it, looking at it from all angles and reshaping it, resizing it just to see, does it look a little different when it's bigger or a little different when it's smaller? And start thinking about other ways I can use it than just as it is. But that comes from all those little mistakes. You learn from your mistakes, and it's no different here in housing. So I thank those for that joined us, even if they came in and went. Again, reminder, I do have CBT codes to give away. There's a handful of NA ones, and I do have a few EU ones left. I don't really think I'll be giving away too many of the NA ones because most of the people that come by my channel are EU, because of the time that I stream. Most of the NAers are, I think, typically asleep or at least on their way. I get a few night owls, but not too many, and most of those that I do get are already in the game, so they're not really looking for that. But if you happen to know anybody that needs one and that's been trying to get one and without much success, send them my way. I'm online every weekday. Varies on the hour most of the time, but if you catch me, just give me a nudge and say, hey, Carrot, give me a code. I'm desperate, and I will try and suit you up with one if I can. But thanks for joining, and tomorrow we'll probably be back at this again. I don't think there's been much that's changed on the PTR. They have been doing some updates. Now, I say that, and there is word that we're looking to get the hoverboard Z-Pre International or Invitational, or I don't know what the word is. Some kind of special in-game event that they're going to be introducing, and it has to do with hoverboards. I have no idea if that's housing related or if it's an actual open world kind of area. If it is housing related, then we'll be definitely checking that out tomorrow, because it's supposed to be going live this evening my time on the PTR, and they're going to keep it on there until tomorrow sometime in the evening, I think, or late morning. But if I can sneak in on that, I will definitely do that. If it's not really specifically to do with housing, then I, of course, will be back in Thovan's place to do a bit more work. I will probably do some work on his place later this afternoon, but if I do, I'll do as I usually do. I'll just kind of recap what's going on, and then we'll dive into some other new little tidbit. And of course, as we do this, I will definitely be practicing with sets to try and get that to go a little smoother than it did. But, that's a good example. Someone sees this, they'll say, well, even Carrot gets it wrong sometimes. And I get it wrong way more than that. I just don't admit all of it. But I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. And if you didn't, well, maybe next time. But until then, I wish you guys a great day. And if I don't see you tomorrow, have a great weekend. See you later. Bye-bye.